All right, here we go with the energetic weather report for the week. It's actually pretty light as far as astrological transits and things I have here to mention. I'm actually going to go back a little bit to note two things that have just come through and whose energies we may now be experiencing and or enjoying. So big announcement, Uranus is now direct. So Uranus stationed direct on the 26th, just last week, and it is leaving us now with no major planets in retrograde. Hurrah! I'm going to show you a little visual about that in a moment to really look back on just how long we've been in a state of backward motion, right? With planets in retrograde forever, it seems. Well, this was the last one. So now that it has stationed direct, there's a lot of forward moving momentum on our side now, because with all the major planets moving in a direct motion, we can get things done, we can take new leaps of faith, we can get the ball rolling on projects that we want to get off the ground. So 2024 is really starting off with a bang. So use this momentum to your advantage. All right, I'm going to show you a little visual about that in a moment. One other thing to note, January 27th, Mercury conjunct Mars. So this has just transpired. Mercury and Mars have come into alignment again. So the first unit of these two planets, the union happened on December 27th. So if you were dealing with something tense or hostile, a situation at that time that was a little heated, you could be finding things coming around again to be resolved. Or you may be now having an opportunity to look at things through a new lens. I'm actually feeling that Six of Cups that came up for us this week, because it does have a bit of a nostalgic look back energy to it as how we are growing, because it's in Thursday's position. So we'll definitely talk about that in the context of what this fresh energy could be bringing back around for us, where we either now have an opportunity to resolve that tense or hostile circumstance situation, and we could be looking at things through a new lens with new wisdom that we have gleaned through having experienced these things before. So a lot to unpack with how these astrological aspects are influencing our collective energies that we are taking a look at this week. Let's take a quick look at the visual I was talking about, and then we will start to dive into our messages. Yes, so here we are. No planets in retrograde. So all the planets are now direct for 10 weeks until April 1st of 2024. So that's when Mercury is going to go retrograde again. So there's going to be no planets in retrograde. So, just being mindful of Neptune, Jupiter, and Uranus still in a post-shadow phase, because once a planet stations direct, we still have that residual energy from the retrograde that we can experience those ripples of energies. So just noting that those were the three planets that most recently stationed direct were still in their post-shadow. So this is a time of less disruptions to life, yes. Outward focus, yes. Peace and tranquility, more please. Forward momentum, I'm here for it. Flowing energy, enjoy. I love it. So that feels really good. We're really, we're rolling with things. I think there's this with the Aquarian energy that we are in now, there's this sense of fluidity, a sense of flow, of really staying malleable, and we're going to talk about this with the energies of the four this week I'm feeling this holding on loosely to the boundaries and the parameters that we're setting, the framework that we're setting, but also staying open to flex and flow with what is. Right? So just reflecting back on all that had transpired here in this season of retrograde, now with Uranus stationing direct, we have 0 planets in retrograde motion, and we have until April 1st to really utilize this forward momentum. So this marks a perfect time to get a jump start on the intentions that you've been setting for this year. Not to wait any longer to make those commitments and not putting off anything that we want to get moving. So take advantage of this time, because we know things are really speeding up. Time is moving very quickly, and we don't want to miss out on any of these opportunities to really get on these goals and these intentions and seeds that we're planning for ourselves. Not with pressure, not with a sense of you're going to miss anything. I'm saying we're bringing into our awareness that we have this opportunity on our side that we can now build from. as we move forward into these potent energies. So let's go ahead and kick off our week taking a look at the messages that have come forward. I'm going to start with the Imbolc message because it really feels like with that 3-3 that kicked off our numerical sequence this week, it needs to go first. So let's take a look. Okay, we are entering in to kick off our week ahead with this Imbolc message from the Seasons of the Witch Oracle, card number 33, coming in with that number of the Master Teacher. So let's take a look. And like I said, I'm going to get into much more how you can work with these Imbolc energies in the month ahead reading I do for the Empowerment Pack. So if you want to know more about working with this energy and the type of things you can bring in, one of the symbols I am noting is the candle. This beautiful deck mentions that each of their Seasons of the Witch decks have a key element that they focus on throughout the deck that you can find on every card. And in this case, ushering in the return of light, they chose the candle. So the card of Peppermint has come forward with the messages, keywords of clearing, there it is again, my keyword I keep hearing, toxic relationships and behaviors. Okay, so let's feel into this energy. No one enjoys getting a cold or the flu, as they can bring great discomfort and pain that prevents you from experiencing the joys of life. Of course, it is better to take measures to prevent sickness, but sometimes it creeps up, coming from an unexpected place. Despite your best efforts, it can't be avoided. When you're sick, it's important to seek healing options to clear away the toxicity or infection that has caused the illness. You could let it run its course, but that could also lead to long-term effects or worse. You can also have an infection of the heart or soul, and it comes in the form of toxic relationships, self-sabotaging behaviors, and spiritual bypassing. The Peppermint card comes to your reading to warn you that the person or situation you have inquired about is harmful to you in some way, and you should take steps to remove them from your life or, at the very least, reduce their influence on you. Even if your past experience with this person or behavior has been positive, receiving this card is a sign that circumstances have changed for the lesser. You can choose to take a passive role and see how things unfold, but consider the impact such a decision may have on your long-term well-being and whether it's worth the risk. So there's definitely an energy here that's being highlighted, and it's fascinating how they're likening it to our exposure to, a season of illness or dis-ease in the body and unwellness that can come about, especially in the winter season, or in different settings and circumstances where we can have these bouts with something toxic, not beneficial to our health necessarily, although some illnesses can actually help to clear, of course, and the body's way of resetting. That it's likening that to some of our relationships and people and circumstances that are in our orbit. So very interesting that I mentioned that this the cycle that I was highlighting with the energies of bringing us back to December 27th and certain heated situations that we may have been facing coming back around again, or even if they weren't heated or tense, I feel like this card is bringing in the sense of something that even seemed okay before, something that seemed tolerable, or, we can make it work in small doses or whatever it may be, is coming up highlighted as, no, there is this toxic seed of energy implanted there where every time we continue to go back around again in that situation, we're finding ourselves in this familiar circumstance of, really unwittingly perhaps welcoming in something that is not for our highest and best good. Now, there's a little peppermint egg clearing toxicity spell here that looks fun. So what I'll do is I'll take a picture of that. I love these decks. They're chock full of helpful little rituals and ceremonies and things to really add and expand on the messages. So to the extent that anyone would like to know about that, it's a little peppermint egg clearing toxicity spell that involves using an eggshell, it appears, and some dried peppermint. So I will take a picture of this and put it here for for anyone who may be interested in going deeper with that. But let's take the energies that peppermint brings in. And remember, I'm noting the number 33 as the master teacher. This is really next level master class. And I can tell you, if you did see my collaboration video with Mila for Stars and Cards that I posted last week and shared here in the Sharecast, we pulled cards for that beautiful full moon in Leo. And then I also pulled cards with my Empowerment Pack group. Both of them brought forward the energy of the devil, which was called master in the psychic tarot deck that I was using in both cases. So that word master came up with this full moon in Leo that we're just coming through, that really was shining a light on, illuminating those areas where we may have been disempowered or not honoring our worth or standing in our joy. And so this devil energy came forward with the word master. And so from that, I was feeling this is about mastering or having a master class in leveling up to this 2.0 version of us that we are invited to step into this year. So I'm feeling this card very potently, like peppermint oil, really waking us up with this fresh new insights into next level mastery of these lessons that are always so perfectly orchestrated through our relationships. This is where we have chosen as humanity to experience our lessons as souls coming here to have these human experiences in our fool's journeys. It's the other fools all around us and us who are working together to facilitate those lessons through our relationships, through our experiences. And I feel that being highlighted here in this card as we kick off the messages for this week. So let's take a look now at our 5 tarot cards. Okay, here we have the peppermint egg clearing toxicity spell that I mentioned from the Seasons of the Witch Imbolc Oracle. So if you were interested in that, you can hold down the little thumbnail and at the bottom here of this photo, and you'll get an option to save the photo. So you can go ahead and take a look at that spell if that speaks to you. And I'm just saying, this is page 107 of the book. 1 + 7 is 8. So it definitely feels very aligned here because, as you know, we just came through 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here is 8 in our 8th year of 2024. So do check this out. I'm definitely going to check it out and see about incorporating this into my practice this week as we usher in the beautiful energies of Imbolc. All right, we're kicking off this week with the Monday card that has come forward with 4 of Wands, continuing our numerological trail of breadcrumbs that we're moving through. I'm still sort of processing all of that to really feel into the message that comes forward through pulling the cards 33, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, and having this sort of, again, linear sequential order of things coming up as we're launching into this second month of 2024, which is truly, we're going to go through our waves of series of just, we had the calendar new year, with the calendar turning a page and that being a man-made construct of the new year. Now we're talking February, we bring in the lunar new year, which again is something I'll really be diving into in the Empowerment Pack this month. And then we will have in March the astrological new year. So we have these waves of finding ourselves at this point where we are wrapping up one cycle and beginning a new one. And I kind of feel like this moving through the sequence of events and moving through the sequence of these markers comes in with the 4 of Wands kicking off our week, bringing in and highlighting the number 4, which, very much brings us into this idea of the structure or framework of things. And in this case, the Wands is bringing in the fire, the sparks. It brings us into the home, and it also brings us into celebration. It carries a very positive, high vibe energy of tribe, home, gathering, celebration. So this is a card that can denote milestone events and celebrations. birthdays, graduations, anniversaries, just marking certain, I really feel this like we're marking these events, marking these dates, you know, like the fact that these numbers are coming up one by one, that we're feeling into these different marks along the way, that we're just zooming right through, you know, like, so to me, I just want to take a moment to get present and really just anchor into where I am in a given moment and celebrate that fact that I am here in this moment having this unique experience, whatever it is, right? However it's presenting itself. So the Four of Wands, you know, really showing this gathering of souls coming together, kindreds. But there is also, like I say, this as you see the Four Wands here, you know, the energy of those four wands being like the pillars or the framework of the home, that I'm feeling this, you know, again, not to be too rigid, which is what I think the Emperor is going to tell us about, because there's the potential for rigidity there. And that's our potential block or challenge. So this four, I feel like, is showing us a little bit more, like I said, like music and flow and fluidity in our ability to, can you see my hands dancing? This is me, I'm dancing, shaking my tambourine to the beat of the moment, right? And where I am here and now. So if that beat is very fast paced and the tempo is very high and I'm feeling like there's just, I feel like this pretty much every day right now, that there just simply are not enough hours in the day. I set out with a certain structured plan, 1, 2, 3, 4, and my day goes in any given direction. And I look up and it's time to make dinner or whatever it may be. And so, you know, really just trying to sort of get my bearings in all of that. I'm feeling that energy when it comes to be here now and be in flow and be fluid with, like, okay, I set my day out that I was going to do X, Y, Z, and I was taken in a completely different direction of, like, you know, 5, 6, 7, whatever it is. There I go, you know? So really there just being this opportunity for us to, you know, celebrate every moment, being present, but also with this like fluidity and ability to move with, you know, because this is also reminding us about forgetting those simpler things in life, maybe getting caught up in drama, you know, having a lack of harmony or feeling disconnected from things, midweek blessings winking at me, that we have an opportunity to tap back into. So, you know, this is that energy that I feel is really setting the tone for, again, this sequential order that's coming in of things, where we're going to now take a look at the next four coming forward with the Emperor. So let's take a look now at the Tuesday energy. Okay, Tuesday, we are bringing in the potential block or challenge this week with the chess playing Emperor, with, again, the number 4. So to me, it's like the opposite of what I was describing with the Monday energy. This energy is very structured, very logical, using strategy, and definitely, I always say about the Emperor, he never makes a move that he doesn't know will be successful. I'm just going to zoom in on him a little bit so you can take a look at what's going on here, because one of the things I'm noticing is that fluid energy I was talking about is actually coming in here as a little divine inspiration as we hold on tightly perhaps to that chess piece, right? So to me, this is the difference between being very rigid and fixed in our plans and our strategies and our moves that we're making. And also, I always say about, well, this is Aries energy, as you can see here, the brilliant nod to that here in this version of Aries energy, which of course is a fire sign. And there's definitely a lot of new, eager energy to get things done, or to be a bit of a taskmaster, you know, completing, you know, taking those steps to do the things. But also the one thing I always see in this card is Mars. I always feel like he's sitting on Mars. So there's this fiery energy. And of course, as I was talking about, some of the aspects this week and the potential for tension or struggle in any way within our relationships or with others or with circumstances that can get heated, that fiery energy, that he's sitting on, I feel like there is an opportunity here, seeing just kind of how the light is streaming in sort of a wispy way, again, over the chess piece that he holds in his hand, that again, there's this invitation to, yes, take decisive action on things, definitely harnessing this forward moving momentum that I was talking about with all planets stationing direct and the opportunity now to really step into all of that. And yeah, this talks about the divine masculine energy, authority, power, a natural leader, structure, strategic, analytical, thinking, taking action. Okay. Yes. However, and also, right, bringing in some of the divine feminine energy I'm feeling over there of being in a bit more of a receptive state of open to flow. And that being sort of like the secret sauce that's coming in, because the potential block or challenge is all the best laid plans. You can map it up however you want. You can draw it up and be very attached to the way that you want this thing to go and the structure that you have set. And the universe says, hold my beer, like, hold on a second, there can be other plans afoot. So there's an energy of openness to the idea that things don't always go to plan, the best laid plans, and being a little bit more loose in our hold on some of those things, because when this is in shadow, it can be a reference to unchecked power, somebody who's over exerting their power or being overly pragmatic and rigid, corruption. It can reflect selfishness, defensiveness, a desire for control, and being stubborn. So a potential block or challenge this week is whether you could be encountering that energy, coming up against that energy, especially when we speak in terms of, some of the ways that things can be coming back around again from, I noted December 27th, coming back around again here for us to be re-experiencing from a higher perspective or resolving it. So if it's feeling challenged, that is something that some people may, the way that some people may see that demonstrated. This is an energy of ambitions being met and success being found. And so, there is a desire here to build better, one brick at a time. And it's a reminder to use not just your head, but also your heart, and to rise to power as you lead your own evolution. That's beautiful. So, being your own emperor means infinite possibility for your success. It also means addressing any issues that you harbor around authority, control, and willpower. So you may need to work some magic within the confines of the establishment, right? The rules. This is a patriarchal energy as well. So again, collective messages, big stage, small stage, and the way that we can see that being reflected back in our little lives, also speaking to things we could see this week on the big stage, right? And definitely, like I say, Mars, planet of war, fire, this energy that we could see flaring up could absolutely be a block or challenge that we encounter this week. So, working through and within those confines, right? Staying fluid, right? Continuing to really step into and hold the vibration of our joy at the center of it, and allowing that to radiate out so that we're able, again, I love how that's really flowing in here in a way. And let me just show you what I mean, because I don't know if it's coming up. Look at this. So, if you can see this continuation, check that out. See how that connects? So I'm seeing this thread, these strands of energy coming in as light coming through what could be very challenging, light coming through in the face of our structures, our foundations, our, again, bridge work. I'm also feeling, because, you know, as I continue to be so tapped into the just talking about 2024, the year, you know, I'm still head down, moving through, again, not too rigidly, being open to flow, trying to move through my 2024 year ahead readings for all of you who have been receiving them. And thank you so much for all of your amazing feedback, and for all of you who have been patiently waiting. I'm getting them done as I can while moving through all of the unexpected setbacks. You know, it's just been one for the books as far as all the things. But because my energy has been so tapped into the whole year and looking at what's coming up for people, you know, around that wheel, that this is definitely a thread of energy that moves through here to say 2024 carrying this vibration of being a transitory year, a pivotal year, a bridging year to everything that's kicking off on the other side. So how do we experience it? We are moving through this thing. And as we move through this thing, there's going to be all spectrum of experiences that we step into, all different frequencies of energy that we experience. You know, channeling our 2023 year of the chariot, how am I going to experience this ride? We just came through that whole year of training, right? Boots on the ground training for how am I going to experience this thing? This thing is happening. I'm moving through it. How am I going to move through it? Which one am I going to choose here? And how am I going to harness the best of these two fours that are coming up for me to look at the overall structure or foundation or framework of how I'm setting it up for this year. Starting here this week, the bridge between January and February. I love that. Okay, so definitely really feeling these cards this week. Let's go ahead and move into Wednesday for our midweek blessing. Okay, Wednesday is the midway point of our week, and the position, the intention we set is for a midweek blessing. So let's see what's coming forward in the Five of Pentacles. What do you see when you look at this card initially? You know, do you notice right away the figure who is sitting here head down in this position where we're feeling a heaviness right away in that energy, and she's sitting in the dark, in the shadow? Or just do your eyes go to the beam of light that's coming in here? Do you notice that there is a key here leaning up against this door? You know, how do you first perceive this energy that comes in as the Five of Pentacles? So we've moved through 3-3 for our peppermint, 4-4 for our Monday, Tuesday. Now Wednesday brings forward 5. 5 holds the vibration of change, of transition, where there is bound to be some chaos, confusion, disruption of some kind. 5 is also the frequency of freedom, of the rebel, of going against the grain. You know, so there's a lot of different ways that you can channel difficult energy that is chaotic, energy that is confusing, energy that is unsettling. How can I work with that energy? If I'm staying fluid, if I'm staying open to where I am here in this moment, it's dark, it's cold, right? She's looking down. And yes, the Five of Pentacles being about safety, security, material. It also brings us into the body. So we're talking about health as well. And interesting that, remember, Peppermint talked about experiencing dis-ease or being in a state of needing to heal from something, of being unwell, that brings forward, really addressing those toxic aspects. And so Five of Pentacles can highlight financial losses, health challenges, feelings of being on the outs. That is a vibration of the Five of Pentacles. But this is a blessing, remember, right? So wherein lies the blessing? There is a key to a door that will open for you if you only were to shift that perspective, right? Shifting our perspective to see the light in the dark, right? Remember, we infused this energy of midnight indigo, light in the dark, into our card pulls, asking, again with the candle energy as an element to light the way, to illuminate for us the pathways forward, our highest and best pathways forward, which here in this midweek point come the Five of Pentacles. So how in this energy might there be a blessing? And the Five of Pentacles brings in, really being able to have a chance to clear blockages. This is definitely very connected to this peppermint energy. I'm just going to bring this in again and tell you again what this is bringing in the masterclass, right? Take from me what keeps me held back, clearing myself from all that does not belong in the vision of what is to come. So doors may have closed to me, doors may not have opened for me. And from this lower vibrational perspective, perhaps just my ego self here and now in the day-to-day, just knee-jerk, my reaction is bummer, right? Bummer. I'm on the outs. It's not opening for me. It's not working. Every time I try, one step forward, two steps back, frustrated by things like wellness being a challenge, or financial challenges, or feeling outside, not belonging, any of those things that could be coming up for us. Wherein lies the blessing? And so the light comes in to say, there is some toxicity in things where there's an opportunity to clear, in where there is a place from which you are healing from things that will then raise your vibration to a place where you might look up, right? Energetically look up. Like imagine she looks up, actually looking up and looking around your surroundings, your circumstances, and seeing wherein lies the beauty, wherein lies the blessing, where's the key, right? Where's the light? Seeking it out. So the blessing being to seek that out. There's a mantra with this card in the Light Seers that says, doors that activate magical opportunities are always opening for me. And so again, even if I don't believe it, right? I haven't embodied that message because I'm feeling the weight of some very real, physical, material, tangible things that I'm moving through. I can channel that energy in by really clearing out some of this toxic energy that could be around me in the form of people, places, and things that are not enriching my life, right? So there's this energy of allowing ourselves to clear all of that. And I think it's really beautiful, again, that the peppermint energy came in with that too. So just remember, I'm going to share the little spell that goes with that for the peppermint energy for clearing toxicity. And I feel like that is connected to our midweek blessing here and the vibrations of Five of Pentacles. So I'll be popping that in at the end of our messages for this week. Let's move into Thursday. Okay, Thursday is highlighting for us how we are growing. And it is officially February 1st, so we move into the energies of Imbolc, the midway point between winter and spring, the return of the light, and we have the Six of Cups coming forward. So the cups are bringing us into the heart chakra, into the emotions, the feels, into the element of water and flow. And this card so beautifully depicts this memory lane, right? This trajectory of time and space from this growth that has happened from boy and puppy to man and dog. I love this card, and I love the messages that the Six of Cups bring in, this energy to simply love, to simply come back to a place of love, to come back into our hearts, so that, growing in the heart space, growing in the knowing that we see how all of these experiences as we look back down memory lane have served us in one way or another. even if it served us up something that we didn't enjoy, right? A meal that we would not want to eat again. We have this energy of, you know, what were the lessons and blessings in that experience? How have I grown through that experience? And so, you know, this can be an energy of things coming back around again, like I've been talking about with this, you know, flashback to December 27th. And also, you know, again, some of these different messages coming in about tuning into what, you know, some toxicity or something in our life that is bringing about, perhaps in this case, I'm feeling an old pattern, or it's also feeling like the memory of someone else or another circumstance that's showing up today in a completely different person or circumstance. You know, it's appearing to us new, but actually it's bringing back around again vibrations of an old experience, one that could date back to, yes, you know, childhood or our youth, because this card does carry the energy of children, and also siblings or kindred spirits, or like karmic ties with other people, karmic lessons that we're coming through. But there can be a sense of reconnecting with people from our past, or just, you know, with the vibrations of, reflections of the way love used to be. That just came to me, right? Reflections of the way love used to be and where I am now. How do I see it now? How did I handle it then? How will I handle it now? And I'm free to choose and choose again. So that when I find myself in a familiar place, or I'm finding myself reacting a way that I'm maybe even surprised by how I'm reacting, because either I think that, I should usually, my MO would be to be, you know, really melting down or breaking down or being in a real frenzy or whatever, having a very emotional reaction to something. And I'm kind of not, like, I'm not freaking out. I'm not in a place where, you know, I'm actually handling it better, differently than before. That is progress. That is growth. That is expansion. And it is something to be celebrated. This card is celebrating that growth. How are we growing? The mantra with this card in the Light Seers says, I am at peace with my past. It has brought me to where I am meant to be. So there's this going back down memory lane and looking at all of the chess pieces, right? All of the pieces along the way that have led us to this moment, and suddenly seeing them with fresh eyes from this different perspective, where we see now that actually I see how that all ended up serving me this particular masterclass lesson, this next level that I'm moving into. So again, this can tap into these different themes of your life, your inner child, your future self, you know, aspects of you. And really, again, simply love, bringing them into the heart, bringing them into love through the vibration of love, because there is such great teaching, learning, growing, healing, and expansion that can happen within that place that is being offered here in how we are growing. So I really feel that 6 again, carrying the vibration, unlike 5, as I talked about in the Wednesday energy. 6 brings forward balance and harmony. There's great healing in number 6. So we're going through the motions, and how am I going to be in each of these places? How am I going to receive that energy at every stop along the way? How did it feel in my body when I was in the vibration of chaos and confusion and uncertainty? How does it feel now to be in a place of feeling more balance and harmony and flow? You know, and just recognizing those different vibrations in our body and thinking about, you know, how, again, from my driver's seat, how I move through each of those things. And am I going to do it, you know, with more fluidity and flow, or am I going to be really rigid and set in my way and then have, you know, however long I need to come through the disappointment and the heaviness of that not working or not happening that way and feeling withdrawn and locked out and in the dark, right? So it's my choice. And that perfectly leads us into our Friday card, which we will take a look at next. All right, we arrive at Friday here to wrap up our week, the 2-2-2-4 energies of the 7 of Cups. So as we were feeling the choice is ours, and moving through some rather nebulous energy, some things that we can't see or know, it all wraps up with the energy of the Seven of Cups, which is exactly that. It shows us this place of choice, and yet we're not really sure because we don't know exactly what is within each of those cups or behind each of those doors. And you can even see that there is some energy coming through here with the bat and the serpent. And there's a beautiful energy of the chutes and ladders, of like the ups and downs, and like what's going to be behind that door that leads to, you know, consequence of choice. And so, you know, Friday is bringing in this, you choose, right? You choose. And, you know, there is like with that nebulous energy, that misty energy that we see there is sort of like a fantastical, dreamlike imagination energy to this card as well. That's bringing in like wishful thinking and the potential for there being a temptation on the path for us to choose this door or that door. And just having a knowingness that we need to move forward without knowing the full picture, right? That there's options, but there's a knowingness. And however you experience that knowingness, or unknowingness, we should say, because we don't know. But I know I don't know. I don't know what I don't know, but I know I don't know it. Whatever it is, right? So where do we make sense of all of that? You see how that feels very like, what the heck? Like so misty and unclear. And I was going to say, you know, we don't like not knowing, but I'm making assumptions there. I don't like not knowing per se, not my favorite. Most of us, you know, might like to feel secure and safe when we make a choice to take a chance on something. And so, you know, in the not knowing, there can be a degree of different emotional experiences that crop up. You know, some people are like, woohoo, let's see where this leads. You know, hey, what's the worst that could happen? You always hear sentences that start with that. What's the worst that could happen? You know, hey, and if that's your MO, go you know, there, you know, experience it how you will. That's what I'm saying. I'm keeping it loose. I'm keeping it nebulous. I don't want to label it, you know, as being very, something to be afraid of, or, you know, trepidatious or anything like that, because that may not be your experience or my experience, you know? So, you know, knowing that I don't know where I'm going from here, but I have to go somewhere. I'm moving forward. I'm not staying stagnant. So there's a choice to be made. And so again, I feel like when we look back over these cards this week, the story it's telling us is, you know, perhaps this is where I've been. This is where I've yet to go, right? In the middle of that is the uncertainty, because we also have the reflection back on all the times that we wanted to go through a door and it didn't work. It closed in our face. We got booted out, you know. It ended in being sick, literally, you know, like sickness and poor, you know, everything. Because like I said, the pentacles being highlighting those senses of safety and security, and being in a lack, potentially in a state of lack in that regard, or a perception of lack. So where I've been, where I could go, how I may feel in the reflection of the places I've already been, where to next, what's going to be behind that door, I don't know. What happens when I move that chess piece, right? And so we're kind of being presented with these two ways to experience this trip of chutes and ladders, right? The ups and the downs. So this wraps us up in this energy of saying that, you know, when we are under the weight of the need to get it right or not mess up, you know, that, you know, we can be really overwhelmed or underwhelmed by the options, because that path from A to Z is often nebulous, right? And life can present itself like a game of chutes and ladders that brings you down only to lift you up. And your desire to choose the one correct, perfect path, I'm talking to you, Emperor, when you're really being in that rigid state, can further complicate and muddle your decision, because there's no way to know everything that will spill forth from the cup you choose. So use your intuition to decide. Remember that the temptation of shiny things can be illusory, while challenging paths will often hold unexpected opportunity. So ask your discerning heart. Cups, heart chakra. Ask your discerning heart what options honestly stand in front of you today. And even if things are not exactly as they seem, choosing that which you truly desire will offer the most useful stepping stone right now. I love that. I really feel that connection, because those cups in a row are like stepping stones, you know, one in front of the other, one at a time. Here I am in this moment. How do I feel? How do I choose to respond, right? What steps am I taking? So, wow, I have goosebumps. This feels big, you know? I mean, I know we're just talking about a week, right? You know, you're like, geez, I'm just checking in here to find out what's going on this week. And I'm like, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's just, you know, it's all the things. I hope these messages are speaking to you. And of course, like I said, we always get into, we can really, you know, kind of nail that down and get nitty gritty and narrow it with your personal card pull. So if you would like a personal card pull, please let me know in whatever way works for you. Like I said, with the free card pulls, I'm doing them as I can in between in the nooks and crannies, but we'll get to you in divine timing, and also just reminding you of the opportunity to join me here this week as we kick off the February Empowerment Pack with a number of options, whether you want to be with me for the full month where we will do all of the readings and tap into all of the energy throughout the month, or if you just want that first reading for the month ahead where we're going to get into the energies of Imbolc, into the Chinese New Year with the wood dragon and all of the supporting elements that are coming forward, where we tap into cards for you for the beginning, middle, and end of the month. Then we can do the Hello Empowerment, whatever works for you. And then if you want to really get into working together with consistency and moving through the coming 3 next months, we have the Empowerment Pack bundle, which is the best value. So just let me know. I would love to connect with you. And I do hope these messages have resonated. I'm wishing you a beautiful week ahead. Happy February. And yeah, I'm going to follow up here now with all the things I mentioned that I was going to share. And thank you so much for being here. I'm sending you much love and many blessings. Oh, and keep your eyes peeled. I haven't recorded it yet, but I'm going to set up the February Empowerment Sharecast. So at some point here on Marco Polo, you'll receive the invitation from me and the link here to hop on over there, because we'll kick off more of the same for February in the new Sharecast. Okay, guys, much love.